This week we're creating a cool kitchen update on a modest budget, and this one's all about family.
It's even better than what I thought was possible that could be done.
What do you think so far?
Unbelievable.
Yarby and Nicole recently moved in to the 60s era ranch-style home with their son, Zach.
It was my grandmother's house, and she raised all 9 of her children here.
11 people living in this house was, I could imagine, a very tight fit.
It's been very challenging. The only thing we've done to the kitchen since we've moved in is to take down the wallpaper and paint the walls. We like the openness of the kitchen. We like the amount of cabinet space that we have on the countertop space.
It's just very dated.
Can't wait to do the kitchen.
I would say Nicole has the vision.
Thanks to Pinterest.
Thanks to Pinterest, thanks to today's homeowner.
This space is nice and bright and open, and then you walk in here and it's
boy.
dark and...
It's like stepping back a few decades.
Yes.
What are some of the ideas of things, kind of your dream kitchen within this space?
My dream kitchen is all white. So
Okay.
basically we would love to see white cabinets to open up the space, make it clean, more modern.
And I noticed the countertops, kind of unique that it's obviously been painted. Is that something
Yes,
you
sir.
guys did?
No, my aunt actually painted these. She painted them when my uncle did the backsplash. So we would love to see something more modern, something like a granite.
And you mentioned the backsplash. Everybody loves backsplashes, especially the subway tile like that. So that's something that you said your uncle did.
Yes, and he did it right before my grandmother passed away, and she was very proud of it.
Oh,
Like it
cool.
was something she really liked.
Have you thought about getting rid of all of this?
We
Yeah,
would
that
love
would be
that.
great.
I mean, we do use that, but we have lots of cabinets that we
I got
could.
you.
And it would open it up, I think, a lot more and help with the flow.
We wouldn't have to duck and look
foyer
to
area.
see.
Right.
Now the doors, you mentioned white. Change up the door some, change up the hardware some?
Definitely. We would love to see more of maybe like a shaker style.
Right.
Something where the hinges aren't so dated. And kind of just stand out at you, you know?
Next, I show Chelsea a few pictures and one of the cabinet doors so we can come up with a design that'll work on a tight budget. Removing the overhead cabinet is just a little work, and since the counters are in good shape, we can give them a faux granite finish with paint. But what do we do with these 60-year-old cabinet doors?
To get all new doors on here, they got a price from like $35 to $50 per door. And I kept looking at these doors and thinking about it. Shaker style is nothing
it's
more
what,
than just some
like
strips.
a strip on the side, right?
Right.
So
Well, why
simple.
couldn't we use, of course, if you use plywood, you've got the end grain,
Yeah.
but there's putty for that.
Yeah.
So we have a plan when we return to clean out the kitchen.
I thought it would save us a little time when it comes to reinstalling the cabinet doors by numbering them all as we're taking them off.
Well, and I think they're all pretty much different sizes, so we'll figure it out.
so like putting a puzzle back
Right.
together when we're done.
Do you see how this opens this way and this way? I'd love it if they could
Oh,
open
yeah.
Okay,
like
there
this.
you go.
So
All right.
Okay.
just
Good. Keep thinking of any of those little things
Okay.
because you're the only one that knows about them.
Right. Since the day we moved in, I've wanted to flip the hinges because that's where my pots and pans are.
I promise you, Nicole will not let us forget.
Once I remove some of the surrounding trim, we're ready to pull down that overhead cabinet.
Let's just pull it straight towards me right here at the bottom. Okay, now we got
Okay.
something. Hold on.
This is really dangerous.
All right, let's come my way a little bit more, but watch yourself.
It's going up in the
Ceiling
ceiling.
Big
issue
hole
here.
in the
Okay,
ceiling.
now back towards you.
Dad is like a bull in a china shop trying to take the cabinet off the ceiling.
Dad, this is very haphazard. Can we please take the cabinets off?
It's gonna drop pretty quick, so good luck.
All right.
Oh gosh.
Just back and forth a little bit like this. Okay, I'm gonna come down this a little bit. Okay, all right.
All right.
See, it should be loose now. Okay, it's loose.
All right.
Okay, pull out. Okay, sit.
That was a lot less haphazard than I was anticipating.
Wow.
Adios.
Seeing the cabinet come down was awesome. I was like, oh my gosh, the space has completely opened up. Wow. Look how open it is.
Here's a quick, easy, and non-toxic way to clean a kitchen cutting board. all you need are some lemons and some coarse salt. First, take the lemon and cut it in half, and then sprinkle some salt. This is kosher salt, which is nice and coarse. That's what you're looking for, some nice coarse salt. And then take the cut half of the lemon and just rub it into the cutting board. What you're doing is you're forcing the juice from the lemon, which has high acidity, and the gritty texture of the salt into the wood. And that's going to clean up any grime or grit or dirt. And you probably want to do this for a good 2 or 3 minutes, but I'll just show you just in a few seconds how clean it smells great too. It's important to do this, if you use your cutting board a lot, you probably want to do this at least every 2 or 3 weeks. Then bring it over to the sink and just wipe it down. You don't have to wash it, it's just lemon juice and salt. So you just wipe it down. Now at this point, you're going to want to let it dry overnight at least, and then come back, if it's a wooden cutting board, treat it not with vegetable oil, which could go rancid, but with either food grade mineral oil or cutting board oil made specifically for wood.
Yarby and Nicole's home used to belong to her grandmother, who passed away just a year ago. We're helping them do a budget update on the kitchen, and along the way, we're getting a lesson in her family history.
Yarby, come look at this. It's a tablecloth used as a liner. She just has it tacked in there.
That's some grandmother ingenuity.
That's right. But look at all the different.
Yeah, they're all different, every one of them. When you have 9 children, I would imagine you have to watch every single penny.
Good memories.
Yeah.
This dated valance is also a relic of the past, so Chelsea is carefully cutting it free from the surrounding cabinets. Our handyman bear is also pretty methodical as he rebuilds the existing cabinet where it was attached to the Peninsula cabinet we removed. When you're dealing with cabinets like we're dealing with here that have been built in place, a lot of times it makes it easier to actually customize them a little bit because it's just lumber.
Okay guys, we need to get the boxes prepped for painting, so we're going to start with sanding. Okay. We have sanders here with 100 grit sandpaper, so it's pretty coarse, so you don't need to bear down on it, and you want to do long strokes so that we can take the gloss off and then get rid of the grime around the hinges, and then we should be ready to prime it soon.
Good job, y'all were into it. Take a little break, let me show you exactly what we're doing.
Okay, sounds great.
Kind of like putting together a little simple puzzle. So what we have is we have some 1/4-inch cabinet grade plywood, but we're going to let this come out flush there.
Love it. Perfect.
After it's primed and painted, that's going to look like a shaker style door.
Yes.
The tricky part's going to be right here. Now you see how the bevel is there? We have that little piece. You don't want to see that. We're actually going to go along and wood putty every edge like this, sand it to give it that square finished edge on it.
Perfect.
The good thing about the shaker style cabinet door is you basically have just 2 verticals and 2 horizontals. It's that simple, but man, what an effect that it has. You take the hardware off.
Okay.
You do a little bit of sanding we'll need to do. Then I'll start cutting the strips, and then we'll glue and nail them on, and then I'll start trying this putty, because that's one of the things I'm concerned about there.
Okay, well, if you're concerned, then I should probably do the puttying.
Why? You can putty better than I?
I've seen you putty, yeah.
Here's something to think about. If you bought all new doors, it would take a lot more time in order to measure and to have the doors made and delivered. Plus, it would cost anywhere from $35 to $50 per door. Now, the strips that I'm using here, I'm only using 1 piece of plywood. It costs $40. A little extra labor, I think it's going to be worth it.
Hey. I thought we agreed I was going to do the puttying.
What do you think?
I think you're being sneaky. I think I need to do the puttying, but it looks good. The first part you have mocked up. Yeah, it's all in the front too. Now you're just adding more sanding. Cleaning up after you. Pressure's on for me to be a good puttier now.
Overnight, Yarby and Nicole finished priming the cabinet frames. In the morning, the putty on the doors is dry and ready for sanding.
Seems to be sanding pretty well. What do you think Nicole's going to think about it?
I think she's gonna love them.
The boxes already look so different with a primer coat on it. Y'all got it painted last night?
Yes, we did. It was an adventure.
Was it?
Yes. Yeah, Nicole had a little bit of a mishap. Nicole's mother nicknamed her Grace and spilled paint. Somehow the paint that came out of the bucket landed all on her. All I heard was a frantic scream and turned around and there's paint basically from head to toe, and she has, it looks like white highlights in her hair. It's white paint dripping out of her hair.
The paint splattered all in my hair. My hair was down, so my hair was covered in paint.
Now, Yarby may regret sharing that picture. Once the doors are sanded, Bear and Yarby fix our little dent in the ceiling before Bear begins spraying the cabinet doors with primer. Meanwhile, back inside, we're filling the old hinge holes on the cabinet so we can begin applying the first coat of finish paint. I'm mixing an additive to the latex paint that'll help it flow and reduce brush marks. So, Yarby, can you feel the difference in that paint, how it flows on a lot better?
Yes, sir, I can. It's a lot smoother.
We've used it before, and it really does help eliminate those brush strokes. We just got to put it on there nice and even.
Especially for cabinets, you want a smooth finish.
Right. It even makes it easier to wash it out of your hair in the event that you get some on your hair.
Too bad Nicole didn't have that last night.
Yeah, too bad it wasn't in the primer last night.
So, Allison, a lot of people don't use their bathroom fans, either because they don't work or they're too noisy. But we got a quick fix for that, right?
Absolutely. This Newtone Quick Kit is the perfect solution. No access to the attic is required, no electrician is required, and you can install it in less than 10 minutes.
I love this. Now, there is a little bit of a catch though. You need to make sure with this particular kit that your bathroom fan, the existing one that you have, the cover either looks like this or looks like this and has the dimensions of this right here on the bottom. If you've got that, you're in good shape to use this particular kit.
And the beauty of this new replacement motor is the fact that it is so much quieter and it is so much more powerful than your old fan that you're replacing.
Well, you talk about the motor, and that's really all you're doing. You're not having to take out the housing, which has all the wiring connected to it. You're just simply replacing the motor. And then, of course, a new faceplate. So all you gotta do is take out the old motor, plug in the new motor, put on your new faceplate, and you are done.
We're helping Yarby and Nicole update the kitchen in their 60s era home. The cabinets have been painted and the doors have been remodeled and sprayed. Chelsea has even protected the grout on the tile backsplash that was already there. This grout sealer from Custom Building Products will make sure it continues to look good for years to come. But this house was home to Nicole's grandmother for over 5 decades, so we all feel some added pressure to get it right in honor of her.
I had a dream that my grandmother was out here and we were having a yard sale selling her stuff, and I got really upset because I just felt like I was in the wrong place selling her things, and I was crying in my sleep and Yarby woke me up.
Her grandmother came to her and said, you know, no, please sell it. You know, it's your house now, do with it what you want.
It was kind of like it was her saying, it's okay to go on with this renovation.
Okay, Nicole, now that we have everything prepped, we're ready to do our primer coat on the countertops to make them look like granite.
Yeah.
So here's what the final one's gonna look like, which is very white, but ironically, you start with a black primer.
Okay, so how long will it take this to dry?
You want the primer coat to set up for 8 hours before we do the next coat.
Okay.
This is actually very good imitation, but it won't act like granite. Like, you won't be able to set hot things on it, but it'll look really good once we're done. Bye-bye, gold countertops. Okay, I painted a little bit behind you.
Okay.
Accidentally, or not accidentally, but I wasn't thinking, so watch your tushy.
While the counters dry, we begin adding hinges to the newly renovated cabinet doors so we can finally begin putting it all back together. Okay, now the puzzle of figuring out what goes where.
Yeah, we lost all of our stickers.
I know it.
I'm so glad I took the time to number those doors.
Okay, first one's up.
Only 20-something more to go.
28 more.
There's one in every bunch.
Did we find the home for this one?
I haven't even looked. I'm just admiring the cabinets. They look awesome. Once the first couple of doors go up, I could see what the final product was going to look like. But once we saw that, I knew that was exactly what we had envisioned.
You know, I think they're realizing just how great the kitchen's going to look. So when y'all first met and you said, "What's your name, big boy?" And he said, "Yarby, what did you think?"
Is that your real name?
Really? Is that what you said?
Most people ask, is that a nickname? Once you actually get the name, it's one that you don't normally forget. Well, I used to make up this really elaborate, sometimes sad story.
I used to.
To try to help me pick up girls, but Then I met my beautiful wife and I realized I didn't need to do that anymore. So now I just tell the truth.
Uh-oh, look what we did. You know, I leave them alone for just a minute, and they put the hinges on the wrong side of the cabinet doors that go above the refrigerator. These are the ones you did. These are the ones you did.
I don't think so.
Yeah, they are.
Wait a minute. Oh, that was me. After the doors are all in place, Chelsea and Nicole can finish the countertops after a test run on some construction paper.
So we cover the whole area with this color, and then you go in and practice yours right on top, and you want it to still be wet so the colors blend in a little bit more.
Once they have their technique down, they're ready for the real thing.
All right, so a 2x2 area. Mm-hmm. The countertops was kind of a process.
You're basically using 3 different colors and a sea sponge to sponge on the paint in no pattern whatsoever, just random spots to create a granite stone natural look.
I think that's a 2x2. Wouldn't you say? I think it's just because I'm like,
to get to work. Let me just finish out this half circle.
and then you can do the edges while I do the top, maybe. All right.
Okay, have at it, gold.
Let's try it.
So I was, and she was like, so I felt a lot of pressure to do it fast and do it well. Okay, I'm hurrying. I'm doing
Did
the
you
edge.
ever re-dip yours, or did it stay?
Yeah, I did.
You did?
Are you inspired yet?
I'm inspired.
This is where we get to be artsy-fartsy.
As you're going along further, you can start to see the look.
I think it turned out well, though.
Now it's down to the details, like installing these great cabinet pulls that Nicole picked out to really finish off this kitchen update. Yarby and Nicole's kitchen showed every bit of its 60 years of age before we started. It was dark, it was dated, it was almost claustrophobic. Simply removing one section of overhead cabinets did wonders to open up the space, not only to the rest of the room, but the rest of the house as well. Nicole wanted light and bright, so we covered up the old tired stained wood with a bright white paint scheme. That change, plus a few simple modifications to the cabinet doors and some sharp new hardware and hinges, has moved this kitchen from museum status to showroom status. Not to mention the faux granite finish that Chelsea and Nicole created on the countertops, which elevates both the style and light in the room. In fact, we were all so inspired that we added new light fixtures, a new faucet, and repainted the old refrigerator.
We are absolutely in love with our new kitchen. It's everything that we hoped for and dreamed for. It's even better than what I thought was possible that could be done.
I could somewhat envision what the style and the paint change was going to do. I couldn't really envision how much of a difference taking down that section of cabinets, how much of a difference that would make. The countertops look like granite.
You can't tell unless you actually go up and touch it. It was a dark hole kind of, and now it's bright and open and airy feeling.
It feels a lot more inviting. It just feels a lot more like home now.
I think my grandmother would just be in complete shock if she was were able to see the kitchen.
She would probably think that we spent too much money on it just based off the look, because it does look like we spent a fortune, which we didn't. We didn't have to. Not only does it look good, but I actually kind of learned a little bit along the way.
You know, over the last few years, one of the biggest trends in kitchen renovation has been to open up the kitchen to the rest of the house. Now, a lot of times you have to take down an entire wall to accomplish that, but here we were able to do that by simply removing one of the overhead cabinets here, and what a difference it's made. Plus, painting the cabinets white, the white granite finish, improving the lighting. Now this is a bright, welcoming kitchen, and it really blends in very, very well with all the other work that Yarby and Nicole have done to this wonderful house. And here's the thing that'll blow you away. We did all of it for less than $800 in materials. I'm Danny Lipford. I hope we'll see you next week right here on Today's Homeowner.